In today's video, we journey back in time to uncover the secrets of the past. Welcome to a story written in the sands of history.
The long history of New Year's celebrations. Introduction: humanity's oldest festival. The turning of the year has always been a time of significance for humanity. Across cultures and centuries, people have marked the end of one cycle and the beginning of another with rituals of renewal, hope, and festivity. Today, billions around the globe celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with fireworks, countdowns, and resolutions. Yet the history of these celebrations stretches back thousands of years, winding its way from the temples of Babylon to the bustling avenues of New York City. This essay explores the long and fascinating story of New Year's celebrations, tracing their evolution across civilizations, religions, and cultures until they became the global festivity we know today. Ancient beginnings, Babylon and Akitu. The Babylonian Akitu Festival. The earliest recorded New Year celebrations date back over 4,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia. In Babylon, around 2000 BCE, the New Year was marked during the spring equinox with a festival called Akitu. This event lasted for 11 days and combined religious rites, political rituals, and communal festivities. Akitu was not just about merrymaking, it was deeply tied to Babylonian cosmology. It commemorated the victory of the sky god Marduk over the chaos monster Tiamat, symbolizing the triumph of order over disorder. During the festival, rituals reinforced the king's divine mandate, reaffirming his authority to rule for the coming year. This intertwining of cosmic renewal, agricultural cycles, and royal legitimacy became a recurring theme in New Year celebrations throughout history. 2. Egypt, Persia, and the rhythms of nature. Ancient Egypt and the Nile. In Egypt, the New Year was linked to the annual flooding of the Nile, which occurred around mid-July. This natural phenomenon was life-giving, replenishing farmland with fertile soil. The Egyptians associated the New Year with the rising of the star Sirius, which heralded the inundation. Celebrations included offerings to the gods, especially Osiris and Hapi, and feasting to welcome the fertile season ahead. Persian Nowruz. In Persia, the New Year festival known as Nowruz, still celebrated today, dates back at least 2,500 years to the Achaemenid Empire. Falling on the spring equinox, Nowruz symbolized rebirth and renewal. Ancient Persians observed customs such as lighting bonfires, cleansing homes, and sharing meals. The themes of purification and fresh beginnings were central, highlighting how human societies sought to align their calendars with the rhythms of nature. 3. The Roman calendar and January 1st. Early Roman practices. The Roman calendar initially celebrated the New Year in March, coinciding with the beginning of the military campaign season. Festivals included offerings to Mars, the god of war, as well as feasting and public games. Julius Caesar and the Julian calendar. A turning point came in 46 BCE, when Julius Caesar introduced the Julian calendar, modeled on the solar year. To align with the calendar reforms, Caesar established January 1st as the start of the year, dedicated to Janus, the two-faced god of beginnings and transitions. Janus looked both backward and forward, symbolizing reflection and anticipation, ideas that remain central to New Year traditions today. Romans celebrated with public sacrifices, exchange of gifts, and festive gatherings. They decorated homes with laurel branches and honored Janus with offerings of wine and cakes. This Roman innovation laid the groundwork for the modern Western New Year's celebration. 4. The medieval shift, Christianity and the liturgical year. Early Christian resistance. With the rise of Christianity, pagan festivals such as the Roman New Year faced opposition. Early church leaders condemned revelry associated with January 1st as sinful and instead emphasized religious feasts, such as the Feast of the Circumcision of Christ, observed on the same date. Different New Year's days. During the Middle Ages, the New Year varied across Europe. In some regions, it was celebrated on December 25th, Christmas, in others on March 25th, the Feast of the Annunciation, and in still others at Easter. This diversity reflected the intertwining of Christian liturgical calendars with older pagan traditions. Nevertheless, popular customs such as feasting, gift-giving, and bonfires continued, blending sacred and secular practices. The Renaissance and the return of January 1st. By the Renaissance, many European states began returning to January 1st as the official new year. This shift gained momentum with the adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1582 under Pope Gregory XIII, which corrected inaccuracies in the Julian system. Catholic countries quickly embraced the reform, while Protestant nations adopted it more gradually. With January 1st restored as New Year's Day, traditions such as feasts, masquerades, and fireworks spread. The association of the new year with resolutions also began to emerge, rooted in older practices of vows and oaths at year's end. 6. New Year traditions around the world. Scotland, Hogmanay. In Scotland, New Year's Eve, called Hogmanay, developed into one of the most elaborate celebrations in Europe. Traditions included first footing, where the first visitor of the year brought symbolic gifts such as coal, shortbread, or whiskey to ensure good fortune. Bonfires and torchlight processions carried echoes of pagan solstice rituals, while songs like Auld Lang Syne became global symbols of farewell and remembrance. Spain and Latin America, grapes at midnight. In Spain, a unique tradition arose in the 19th century, eating 12 grapes at midnight, one for each stroke of the clock. This custom spread to Latin America, where it remains a staple New Year ritual symbolizing luck for each month of the coming year. Japan, Shigatsu. In Japan, the New Year or Shigatsu is among the most important holidays. Rooted in both Shinto and Buddhist traditions, it emphasizes purification and renewal. Families clean their homes, pay off debts, and visit shrines. Special foods, such as oschi ryuri, are prepared, and bells ring 108 times in Buddhist temples to cleanse human desires. China, Lunar New Year. Perhaps the most widely celebrated alternative New Year is the Chinese Lunar New Year, based on the lunar calendar. Falling between late January and February, it features vibrant festivals with dragon dances, firecrackers, red envelopes, and family reunions. The emphasis is on driving away evil spirits, honoring ancestors, and ensuring prosperity. The Lunar New Year spread throughout East and Southeast Asia, taking unique forms in Vietnam, Tet, and Korea, Seoul. 7. The Modern Era, from fireworks to Times Square. Fireworks and globalization. By the 18th and 19th centuries, fireworks became a staple of New Year celebrations in Europe and beyond, symbolizing the expulsion of evil and the welcoming of light. Urban centers developed public gatherings with music, dancing, and spectacles. With industrialization and global trade, New Year's customs began to spread and merge across cultures. Migrants carried traditions with them, while colonial encounters introduced new blends of practice. Times Square and the Global Countdown. The iconic Times Square ball drop in New York City began in 1907, replacing fireworks after local bans. Since then, it has become one of the most recognized symbols of New Year celebrations worldwide. Millions gather in Times Square, and over 1 billion people watch the countdown broadcast globally. The synchronization of clocks and the spread of mass media transformed New Year's Eve into a shared planetary experience, bridging diverse cultures through the common moment of countdown. 8. New Year's resolutions, ancient roots, modern practice. The tradition of making resolutions at the start of the year has roots in both Babylonian and Roman customs. Babylonians promised the gods to repay debts, while Romans vowed loyalty to Janus. In Christianity, the New Year became a time for reflection and penitence. Today, resolutions often focus on self-improvement, losing weight, exercising, or learning new skills. While many resolutions are quickly broken, the practice reflects a deep-seated human desire for renewal and transformation. 9. Symbolism and psychology of the New Year. The persistence of New Year's celebrations across millennia highlights their psychological significance. They represent Cycles and continuity, a reminder that time moves in patterns of endings and beginnings. Hope and renewal, an opportunity to cast aside failures and start afresh. Community and belonging, festivals that unite families, cities, and nations. Sacred and secular unity, a blending of cosmic order, religious rites, and personal aspirations. The New Year serves as a collective ritual of meaning-making, helping humanity navigate the passage of time. Conclusion: the enduring spirit of New Year. From Babylon's Akita festival to Times Square's ball drop, the celebration of the New Year has been one of humanity's most enduring traditions. Each culture has infused it with unique symbols: bonfires in Scotland, grapes in Spain, red envelopes in China, yet the underlying themes remain universal. Renewal, reflection, and hope for the future. In our interconnected world, New Year's Eve has become a truly global celebration, transcending borders while preserving local identities. It is a moment when humanity collectively pauses, looks back at what has passed, and dares to dream of what lies ahead. As the clock strikes midnight, the cheers, fireworks, and embraces echo a timeless human longing to make peace with the past and embrace the promise of tomorrow.